The 2024 election is upon us. In just a few short weeks, we'll be headed to the polls to choose more than the next president of the United States. We'll be voting for senators, governors, representatives, and locally elected positions. The Second Amendment is on the ballot this year. Kamala Harris, the so-called gun czar, would become the most powerful person in the country. To prevent this from happening, we as gun owners need to get out and vote for the Second Amendment. Today we're talking about why voting matters by taking a look at Brandon Herrera's recent election. I'm Tiffany and you're watching One in the Chamber, the show that teaches you how to be a better gun rights activist. And before we get into this video, I want to take a second to challenge you to bring 2 gun-owning friends with you to vote this year. It's likely that you'll be getting out to vote as you're watching this video. Make a difference by bringing friends and family with you to fight for the Second Amendment. On August 12, 2023, YouTuber and gun rights activist Brandon Herrera announced that he was running for Congress in a primary challenge to incumbent Tony Gonzalez.
And that's why, and Yal doesn't know about this part for the record, that's why I'm running for Congress.
Gonzalez was elected to Congress in 2020 after the incumbent retired. It was a tight race, but he defeated his primary challenger after a recount. Gonzalez was elected in an upset, as many commentators expected the seat to flip to Democrats. But Gonzalez prevailed and defeated his Democratic opponent in the November election. During his time in Congress, Gonzalez voted for the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the largest package of gun control in nearly 30 years. And because of this, the Texas Republican Party's executive committee voted to censure Gonzalez for failing to vote on the party positions. For those that don't know, a vote to censure is an elected body officially expressing extreme disapproval with the actions of a person. In this case, Gonzalez's vote against the Second Amendment, among other things, caused the Texas Republican Party to essentially say, "We don't like this guy." Herrera, a passionate gun rights supporter, cited Gonzalez's vote against the Second Amendment as a key factor in his decision to run for Congress.
There is an epidemic of weak politicians. People who claim to stand for your rights, yet vote against them whenever it actually counts. Even in my state of Texas, my congressman, Tony Gonzalez, stood for gun rights to get elected, was given an A rating by the NRA. And when the moment of truth came, and the bill was in front of him, he voted in favor of Biden's post-Uvalde gun control. But we cannot continue to tolerate this wave of weak politicians.
And so the race was on. Herrera started campaigning across Texas's massive 23rd congressional district, stretching from San Antonio all the way to El Paso. The district nearly includes 800 miles of the southern border. And when the election came, Herrera forced Gonzalez into a runoff by ensuring that he didn't get over 50% of the vote. Gonzalez knew he was in trouble at this point. Notable Republicans like Bob Good endorsed Herrera, and Matt Gaetz even campaigned for Herrera, ignoring leadership's plea to not do so. Gonzalez in an interview admitted that he was in the fight for his life.
One of the things that I did, I'm in the middle of a runoff fighting for my life politically on there.
Finally, the election came, and Gonzalez narrowly beat out Herrera by a mere 354 votes. But all wasn't lost. At best, Gonzalez won a pyrrhic victory, with the Republican establishment spending $10 million to retain the seat. The term pyrrhic victory means a victory that comes at such a cost that it is very similar to defeat. Now, Tony will think twice before he votes for gun control. If he does, he'll be thrown right back into another fight against Herrera or another challenger.
And, there are other gun groups, GOA, of course, really helped out along with that. And just getting the members out and getting the word out. And that was why we were able to, incumbents have a re-election rate of 98%, which is abysmal. But we were able to go against one of the best funded Republican incumbents in the state of Texas and make him outspend us $10 million to 1 to barely beat a YouTuber by 400 votes. I don't even consider it a loss because us getting involved in the way that we did and running a guerrilla campaign with the help of you all the way that we did, it wasn't just an L, but we made the establishment, the people we are trying to fight, the entire point of all of this. We made them spend about $10 million they were not expecting to spend. That's $10 million that could have gone a long way in a lot of different places, and we made them spend it on a fight they didn't think they had to fight.
You know, Senator Richardson, if he were here, he would be so proud of you, not only because of the race that you ran, but the exact mentality that you're talking about now. Even in an apparent loss, there are residuals to be gained. Do we have more fundraising lists? Have we identified more volunteers? Do we have the ability to go out and reach more people? Have we identified new talent to come into the campaigns and maybe be candidates in other areas? And you're doing it in spades, and we appreciate that. And Senator Richardson would express some love to you, I'll tell you that.
I appreciate that.
354 votes. That's it. For context, as of 2023, there were over 786,734 people residing in the Texas's 23rd district. And even then, only 29,692 people voted in the primary. That's only 3.7% of the population. There are probably a few people in Herrera's district that, if they were more engaged, would have gone to the polls and voted for him. Here's another way to look at it. There are 362 voting precincts in the district. If just one voter in each precinct had brought one additional person to the polls, we would be looking at Representative Brandon Herrera come 2025. Instead, Tony Gonzalez will keep his seat. This is the power you have as a voter. To get to the polls, to get your friends to the polls. If you're watching this channel, I have to assume that you care about the Bill of Rights. I think we can all agree the Second Amendment is the right that guarantees the rest. It's our ability to stand up to a tyrannical government, and I don't think that I'm alone in saying that I will never allow myself to be disarmed. If you truly believe in the Second Amendment, please get involved. Bring your gun-owning friends to the polls and make sure they vote. Make sure your family votes. Help as many people as you can vote in support of the right to keep and bear arms. Anti-gun Tony Gonzalez gets to keep his seat for another 2 years of voting to strip away your rights. It's our duty to get out and help pro-gun candidates like Herrera win so we can fight to protect and restore the Second Amendment. Don't just take it from me. Here's Brandon's take on it.
By a show of hands of those who are here today, how many of you would say that you would give your life before you would let the government take your gun rights? Let the record show it's every heartbeat in the room. That's awesome. Then why the f don't some of you vote like your life depends on it? Why don't you campaign like your life depends on it? Why don't you volunteer, block walk, door knock, or donate like your life depends on it? And if you do, which there's a good chance that you do because you're here, I'm not talking about you, but you know what I mean. Everybody needs to get involved. This is all of our fight. A lot of people are willing to say, stuff about, take it from my cold, dead hands. None of that stuff matters if you don't get involved now. If you're willing to give your life for it, you should be able to give 10 minutes of your time for it. And I firmly believe that.
This election, and not just the presidency, but House races, governorships, Senate, House, and local elections will likely be close races, decided by slim margins. You can help to ensure that victory can be won by those who support the Second Amendment. That's it for today, guys. I'll see you at the polls.